I am Peter Guzman, President of the Latin Chamber of Commerce. I want to welcome everybody here for this incredible announcement that we're going to hear about today in a few minutes from our governor. I just want to say that the chambers, along with my colleagues that are here, and they'll be mentioned, we've been fighting every day for small business. That's what we do. We understand that the small business community is the lifeline. It's the blood. It's everything of our community. And so anything we can do to help small business, that's what we do at the chambers. That's what we do at the Latin Chamber of Commerce. We try to help small business, keep them going through this horrible time. So today's announcement is going to be a great one. And I know the small business community appreciates the absolute hard work that our treasurer, before you never even heard of a treasurer, what a treasurer did, you know now what Zach Conine's doing, that's for sure. And you know what this governor is doing. We're fighting for small business. So with that, I am proud and honored to introduce our governor from the great state of Nevada, Steve Sisolak.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Peter. It's a real honor to be here this afternoon, and I appreciate the Latin Chamber taking leadership and putting this outdoors where it's a lot safer for everybody. But thank you for your kind introduction. Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here in this opportunity. I'm so glad to be joined here at an event sponsored by the Latin Chamber. They're true spokespeople in our community. When they say small businesses, these chambers mean small businesses. I mean 3, 4, 5, 10 member or employee businesses. These aren't just all the big casinos and properties. They represent every size business. I also want to thank all of the chambers throughout the state. Simply put, we could not have done this all without them and the contributions that they make each and every day. They have been steadfast partners throughout this ongoing pandemic by helping to educate our small businesses, keeping them in the loop on changes with directives we've had, and helping them connect to resources, including the one we're going to talk about today under the leadership of Treasurer Conine. We've got the Latin Chamber here, we've got Metro Chamber, I've got the Henderson Chamber here. I've been either members or on the board, I think, of all 3 of those chambers at one time or another, and they do great work for all of us. So for all of the chambers that are here, the Asian Chamber, all of them, thank you for being here. I'm also pleased to be joined by not only the treasurer, but my friend, Zach Conine, for the special announcement that is aimed at Nevada small businesses and nonprofits as they continue to work with us on their recovery efforts. And while Director Michael Brown from the Office of GoEd could not be here with us, I want to thank him and his team for helping us to get to this point and making this program a reality. Throughout this pandemic, our small businesses have weathered the storm with patience, grace, and a keen sense of creativity and ingenuity. When you think back at the beginning of this pandemic, and we were just starting to get food to go from our restaurants, and they came up with a way to have curbside service when you couldn't go inside. They came up with a way that you could sign on the credit card and clean the pens. I mean, they've been very adaptable, and we appreciate all that they've done to keep the economy moving and to keep people safe. Many of our small businesses survive on a very, very thin margin. They're oftentimes family-owned and family-worked with labor. And it's incumbent upon us to do everything we can to help them bridge the gap until we get through this health crisis that we're facing. That's why it gives me great pleasure today to announce the Pandemic Emergency Technical Support Grant we are calling the PETS program. Now, I'm not talking about pets as in cats and dogs and tortoises. We're talking about the PETS program, Pandemic Emergency Technical Support. Qualifying businesses will receive up to $10,000 to help them with their expenses related to COVID-19. $10,000. For some of these businesses, this is the opportunity to stay open. Online applications will be open on Monday, October 19th, and businesses can apply at the GoEd website at goed.nv.gov. I am incredibly proud of the Treasurer's Office under the leadership of Zach Conine and GoEd and the Department of Business and Industry for working together to put a simple plan that will be easy to apply for so everyone can do it. I would also, we have 2 members of the Latin Chamber that are here today that I hope we'll get to hear from a little bit, who are representative of small businesses who will benefit from a PETS grant. I'd like to recognize Susan Cortez, who runs Nevada Adult Daycare. She does great work with our seniors. And I would also like to recognize Hans Hibbert, who owns JoJo's Jerky. He's an immigrant from Croatia who built a great business here in Las Vegas. Susan, Hans, and Peter will be available to talk to the media just after we're done here, and I look forward to hearing about how this program will help them to continue to innovate during these unprecedented times. If you are a small business that has been hurt by this pandemic and you need help with rent, inventory, payroll, have had to purchase protective equipment, PPE, or you've needed to retrofit your business in order to keep your customers safe, I urge you, I implore you to apply for the PETS grant. And when developing this grant program for small businesses, it is important for all of us that we prioritize some of the businesses that have been hit the hardest by this pandemic, such as our disadvantaged businesses, defined as women, minority, veteran, or disability-owned businesses. Additionally, I recognize the hardship specific categories of business types have endured as a result of this pandemic, and restrictions that have been put in place on their particular businesses, which is why we made sure that Nevada's bars, pubs, taverns, breweries, distilleries, and vineyards are prioritized for access to this grant money. Across the country and here in Nevada, bars and pubs have faced restrictions for the longest period of time in order to keep people safe. And I wanted to do what we can to make sure they are supported as we move into the recovery stage. Finally, the grant program will also be prioritized for our hardworking nonprofit organizations in Nevada, who have been providing invaluable resources and support to our communities. It is important to me to make sure that our businesses who have made such significant sacrifices are able to access this grant program to help them continue providing services throughout the state. This program is completely 100% grant funded. There's no requirement for businesses to pay back this funding, and the money can be used for a wide range of expenses. Again, online applications are open on Monday, and businesses can apply on the GoEd website. That's goed.nv.gov. And before I turn it over to Zach, who's going to give us some more details on the program, I again want to thank the chambers for what they do. Chambers are the voice of small businesses. When you're a small business owner, you can't represent yourself in Carson City, in Washington, D.C., and with the various elected officials. The chambers are your voice, and the chambers are your advocate and your support mechanism. So we all owe them a debt of gratitude, and we encourage you to join your local chamber, support them, because I assure you, they support you. And with that, I turn it over to our treasurer, Zach Conine.
Thank you, Governor. For the last 7 months, small businesses in Nevada have been among the hardest hit by COVID-19. Small businesses have helped with the state's pandemic response by listening to health experts and making difficult decisions, by closing and now reopening with reduced capacity. These actions have kept our medical system from being overrun and have kept Nevadans alive. As someone who knows what it's like to sign the front of a paycheck, I know just how difficult it can be for business owners around the country to make these sorts of decisions. Having to choose between keeping employees on payroll or paying bills like rent and utility costs can seem like an impossible decision. That's why it's important that businesses have access to funds during this economic crisis. Let me be clear. Small businesses are the lifeblood of Nevada's economy, and small businesses will be the backbone of our recovery. We have a responsibility to make sure we do everything we can to make sure those businesses stay safe and stay open. Since the beginning of the pandemic, my office has worked with other state agencies and local partners to take additional risks off the table for Nevada families and small businesses who are struggling. Thanks to the leadership of Governor Sisolak, the support of the legislature, and the hard work of a very small but very dedicated team, we've been able to provide mortgage and rental assistance to thousands of Nevadans and small businesses during this pandemic. The next stage of our economic relief plan involves providing small businesses and nonprofit organizations, especially restaurants, bars, and taverns, with the financial assistance they need to respond to the effects of this virus. That's why I'm excited to share details of a new $20 million program, which will be going live on Monday morning, October 19th at 8 a.m. Designing this program, we had 3 goals. 1, make it easy to apply for. 2, make it easy to understand. And 3, make sure that we get money out the door to small businesses as soon as possible. The Pandemic Emergency Technical Support, or PETS grant, allocates $20 million in coronavirus relief funds to assist small businesses, especially bars and restaurants impacted by closure orders, nonprofits, arts and culture organizations, and chambers of commerce during this COVID-19 health emergency. The program was designed to be flexible so that businesses and nonprofits can adequately respond to COVID-19, safely reopen, and continue their operations. Using a simple online application at goed.nv.gov, businesses should be able to complete and submit their application in less than an hour. Let's talk timing. Applications will open at 8 a.m. this coming Monday, October 19th. They will be open for 2 weeks, closing on November 2nd at 5 p.m. Applicants must complete the form in order to receive funding, and I'd like to thank all the chambers of commerce who are going to be working to make sure that small businesses have the resources and the help they need in order to fill out that application. Now, we worked very hard to make sure that the application was simple, to ensure it can be completed by as many Nevada nonprofits as possible. More information about eligibility, including an instructional video on how to fill out the grant, is available on GoEd's website now. The PETS grant will provide up to $10,000 for small businesses and nonprofit organizations, up to $20,000 for arts and culture organizations, and up to $20,000 for chambers of commerce. Grants under this program can be used for a variety of expenses, like PPE, personal protective equipment, for employees and customers, payroll, inventory, rent, utilities, retrofitting due to COVID-19, and other operational expenses. All funding through this program is awarded as grants, not loans. Therefore, a business owner does not need to repay these funds that they are awarded. Additionally, there are no restrictions on this program for businesses and organizations who have previously received COVID-19 assistance. So if you've received PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program, the SBA's EIDL program, or any other state or local program, you are still eligible for the PETS grants. Funding will be prioritized for disadvantaged businesses, bars, taverns, wineries, and nonprofit organizations. Within the priorities, funds will be awarded on a first-come, first-served basis. Now, for those of you who don't know, before I was your treasurer, I was in the service industry. In fact, I spent my first job in Nevada was in Laughlin 17 years ago at a little restaurant. We've discussed different recovery efforts with restaurateurs and bar owners around the state, and I'm hopeful that this new program will provide them with the assistance that they very much need. There are a couple of important points I want to drive home here, and it would be very helpful if you would share them with all of your viewers. After reviewing the eligibility requirements, we encourage all small businesses and nonprofits to apply if they think they may be eligible. Do not self-select. If you have questions about your application or need additional information, we will contact you as soon as we can. Just start the process, we will reach out to you. Additionally, to all Nevadans, if you have a small business that you love, a small restaurant down the street where you had your first date with a significant other, a small shop where you know the owner and they know you, tell them about this program. Get them to apply. Help us spread the word and keep these businesses open. If you have any questions about the PETS grant or the application process, please don't hesitate to reach out to the Treasurer's Office or the Governor's Office of Economic Development. The best and fastest way to reach us, as always, is email ask@nevadatreasurer.gov or by calling 1-800-336-1600. I want to thank GOA Director Michael Brown for all his help launching this program and the Governor for his continued faith and leadership. I'd also like to thank Peter Guzman from the Latin Chamber of Commerce for their efforts to spread this program through the Latino community, and also to the other chambers of commerce for spreading the word to your members. While this program is just one of many steps we are taking to aid in Nevada's economic recovery, we appreciate your help in spreading the word and making sure that our businesses get the help that they need. Our office will continue to do everything we can to make sure that we have a brighter economic future for all Nevadans. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Zach. We appreciate that. I want to once again thank Treasurer Conine and Director Brown for their help and effort in getting us to this point. Thank you to the chambers that are instrumental not only in today in getting the word out, but in helping your members access this money. Our goal is to be able to get this money out to everyone, and the chambers are going to be instrumental in making that happen. And again, thank you to Peter Guzman and the Latin Chamber for being our host today, this afternoon. And we'll now be able to take a few questions if anyone has any. We'll ask. Go ahead, Zach.
Thank you for the question. We anticipate getting money out the door about 2 weeks after the application process ends. We've really been working to speed up the process to make sure that funds can get out as quickly as possible to small businesses. And as far as how far the funds will go, these funds will cover about 2,000 Nevada businesses at the funding level. Now, we desperately need help from our federal government for additional support, coronavirus relief funds and others, to make sure that we can help small businesses. We need help with rental assistance and infinite other needs. So we encourage everyone to push on your federal delegation and on the President for additional help.
What would disqualify business from getting a grant?
So most businesses will be able and be eligible for these. Some businesses that wouldn't be eligible, for instance, would be businesses that have more than 50 employees, businesses who had more than $4 million in gross revenue last year, businesses owned by a publicly traded company, or businesses whose purpose is illegal at the federal level.
These are really directed at truly small businesses that can use the assistance. So, yeah. Yeah, no, there is a the eviction moratorium from the CDC level continues. They put it in effect after us, and it continues, I think, till the end of the year. So that eviction moratorium will stay in place after ours expires this evening. No, it would just be duplicative. Anybody else? Where's our business owners? We've got a business owner. We've got two of you here, right? Chris. That I want you to, I didn't see it, Chris. Be able to come forward and ask these folks how they're doing, how it'll affect their businesses, and I think you'd be able to see some real on-the-ground effect how this could be activated. So thank you, everybody, for being here. We appreciate you.